working for Sulzer at the Madrid office, and under my responsibilities are innovations in S4 and topics related with intelligent enterprise. So in the next 35 minutes, I will talk about embedding AI in SAP business processes. And I will try to do a short summary of the possible options that SAP is offering. And okay, we can we can summarize as use, consume, not develop, the three approaches that we have. But but let me first put the context. As probably most of you already know, this year is SAP celebrating its 50th anniversary in the market. And during that time, the evolution of the ERP, the SAP ERP, has a lot of changes. And we can see right now that the ERP was transformed, was evolved from a transactional repository to a real-time decision tool. And okay, I borrowed this picture from SAP just to see what is the situation of the ERP right now. Is following the Gartner bimodal IT model with a central piece that is the digital core of S/4HANA. And around this central piece, all the extensions, all the integrations takes place in what is called the business technology platform, BTP. And it's dealing not only with operational data, but with experience data and also data coming from the sensor, what is called Industry 4.0. And all of this is possible because it's driven by AI technologies. So with this picture in mind, we can talk about intelligent enterprise that is people-centric, and its main goals are summarized in this point. I mean, accelerating to value, has agile and flexible processes, can be taking decisions that are driven and have IT solutions future-proof, of course, complying with the regulatory requirements and trying to simplify the landscape, reducing IT cost. Well, 3 years ago, some colleagues from me, Philip Nell and Jorge Plaza, presenting here in this scenario our first integration of AI model. At that time was a model based on image recognitions in a business process. That model was trained with TensorFlow and was deployed in a web application, external web application that was serving a Fiori app that made some inference of some scanner picture. And that's what's done in the automotive sector for branch recognitions. And if I look back how we develop this process with the tools that SAP provides right now, we will change almost everything. Right now is much easier to do with the right tools. So, where are AI in the SAP processes? Okay, I have to say that SAP is providing more than 40 scenarios ready to use out of the box, and the only thing we have to do is just to activate it and start to using. And these scenarios are included in the end-to-end processes. And this has a big effect on because this is transforming the processes and the organization, and is extending the reach of how to use the enterprise application. Because we can find patterns, we can work with unstructured data. And now the end user, the business user, can think about or can ask himself question like who will charge in the next month, or who will buy in the next week or quarter or whatever, or can ask question like how many products will be a customer buy in the next quarter, or even basis in the history we have with can do a forecasting based in the historical data. All these questions, with the introduction of AI, is possible to do for, for the business user. And why is the reason of that? The main reason is because HANA database is offering capabilities of machine learning natively in the system. They are offering one powerful library that is called PAL, Predictive Analysis Library, with more than 100 statistical and mining algorithms that you can use it without moving the data. I mean, just because you have HANA database without the need to move the data, you can apply these algorithms. These algorithms, in terms of resource, are not very consuming in terms of CPU or store. And even better, there is another library that is APL that simplifies the use of the PAL. I mean, with APL, in a very fashion way, we can use some of the algorithms in PAL, mainly in clustering, classification, regression, or time series, without a deep knowledge in data science or in mining or statistical. And in this way, the business user can ask and can get response of these questions without doing a parallel project with data science. Okay, we can find all these applications, all these use case everywhere in different scenarios. In sales, marketing, operations, finance, HR, whatever. There are scenarios ready to use. So what are the approach to use these AI technologies with S/4HANA? Well, the first one is what we say in the slide before. I mean, we can use, or we can have an approach to use embedded AI technologies, because HANA capabilities provide the PAL library and the APL. And there is another piece that now is called embedded ISLM, intelligent scenario lifecycle management. That is the successor of the other tool was called PI, Predictive Application Integrator. But with this tool, with this generation of the tool, we can create machine learning scenarios or machine learning model in a very easy way using APL or PAL. The previous one was only possible to use APL, that was restricted to clustering, classification, time series, and regression. So when what is important in this scenario is that the machine learning service is running in the same stack as the data. I mean, you don't have to extract any data. You only have to apply these scenarios on your S/4HANA. Well, but sometimes is needed some more deeper scenarios. For instance, if you are thinking about image recognitions or sentimental analysis or natural language processing, and you need a lot of data to train the models. And of course, this data normally is not in the S/4HANA. So what to do? So the second approach is to use the business technology platform to define the machine learning service and consuming directly from S/4HANA. In BTP, there is a more powerful version of the ISLM because not only allows you to use algorithms provided in the PAL and EPL library, but also in external library. You can define a machine learning model in BTP choosing R library or TensorFlow library or Python or SciFi, or there are a lot of possibilities. This type of scenarios are called side by side, and is an enhancement of the S/4HANA. And you can develop the scenario using the data intelligence tools, the SAP, or you can use an external third-party tools, and you can connect it with a service that I am going to talk a little bit later. That is A-Core. Or, of course, you can reuse some AI business services that SAP is offering, very powerful, especially one of them, the document extraction. And these are the second approach. I mean, you can use AI technology in S/4HANA or using the embedded possibilities, or just go to a side-by-side scenario. And I have to say that some of the scenarios ready to use that SAP is providing are of type side-by-side. For instance, you can buy by image. That means that if you are in the warehouse, for instance, and you see that some product is under the stock, you can take a picture, and the system automatically call a machine learning service to identify the product, and a purchase requisition is made. And this is completely, I say before, out of the box. You only have to activate it. Well, the other approach for using AI technologies is extend the S/4HANA. The first one was enhance, and this is to extend the S/4HANA. And what tools do we have in SAP to extend the S/4HANA? Well, that is SAP Analytics Cloud. SAP Analytics Cloud, SAC, has 3 dimensions to extend the S/4HANA. One dimension is the business intelligence. If you need to prepare dashboard or reporting, you can do it in SAC. And in this case, you are not moving data. I mean, just to use the business intelligence tool in SAC, what you do is just to put the data in a CDS view, in the whitelist, and you establish a live connection, and the data is not moved to the cloud. I mean, the data keep in your system. And of course, with business intelligence, you can also mix another sources in your reporting or in your dashboard or whatever. Well, another dimension that SAC allows to extend the S/4HANA is the enterprise planning. The enterprise planning is able, based in the historical data, to create and to forecast data for the planning, and there is a connection to put back the data to S4. But the other dimension that were interesting and how to use the AI tools in S/4HANA is the augmented analytics. And there are in SAC 2 services, Smart Predict and Smart Assist, that allow you to use these AI technologies. I will show you in a minute. So the 3 approach we have classified in use, consume, or develop. And how can we activate these actions? So the first one, for activate the standard business scenario, as I said before, there is this powerful tool that is called ISLM. With this tool, you centralize all the developer action and all the operational action on machine learning models and services. So you need to have a special role, and with this special role, you get these 2 tiles to manage the scenarios and to manage the models in every scenario. So, for instance, if we can use this ready-to-use scenario, predictive contract consumption. You can find out in the best practices guide, and all of them are grouped by scopes. This one in particular is 1 QR, and they say that there is a standard Fiori application to consume this information. So if you want to activate it, the action you have to do is go to the scenario, create a model version. In this model version, you specify which data are you going to use for training the model. In the standard in the standard scenarios, SAP provides a CDS view, and you can filter, of course, and you can decide which data you are going to use for the training. Once the model is trained, it's generated another CDS view with the applied data. I mean, with the data, with the predictions. And associated with this applied data set is automatically published an OData services. And this OData service is used by the Fiori application. And of course, if you want to build another Fiori application to adapt to your customer requirements, you can use, of course, this OData service. So if you try to use this application without training the model, you get only the actual values, but not the prediction of. And this could be useful for the purchasing manager to anticipate the condition of the contract before to negotiate with the vendor. Well, but these tools, as I said before, is really powerful because not only allows you to activate the standard scenarios provided by SAP, you can also create your own custom embedded machine learning application. And it's really quite easy. Here in this screenshot, I put all the steps. The first one is when you are going to create a new scenario, you have the possibility to say to the system what type of scenario is embedded or is side-by-side. In this case, for simplicity, I choose embedded. You have to describe the scenario with a text, and the next step is, okay, you are going to create a new scenario, an embedded scenario, and which algorithms you want to put in your model. And then you choose the library that is APL, the automatic predictor library, that is more simplified with less detail. You can decide what type of algorithm you want to put in the model, or you can use the PAL. In this case, I create an scenario, call it SIT BCN, and it's over here. You can see that I choose regression, and the system, without any coding, is going to generate all the classes for creating the model. And then you have to assign a ABAP package. In this case, I use the temporal one. And the last step is to specify the CDS view that will contain the data you want to train. And also, you have to specify the applied data set, I mean, the CDS view who is going to get the predictions. The only requirement is that two CDS view has to have the same structure. You put the target, and the last step is related with the parameters you want to get when you do an inference on that service. In this case, I choose the please give me the score, the confidence, and the percentage. So whenever you call to this service, you are going to get the predicted value, but also information about the confidence about the prediction. And that is all. I mean, you create the model, you start the training, and after some time, a couple of minutes, you will get the results of the predictions, and you can see in this scenario that there is one model, one input data set, that is a CDS view, and output data set with the prediction. And of course, there is another data services generated automatically that you can consume in a theory application in your S/4HANA. Well, I have to say that obviously when you have a model activated, you have to retrain the model from time to time because, I mean, depends on the algorithm you choose, but I mean, you have to fit again the data just to adjust the parameters. Well, in case of consume was related with the side-by-side scenario. And the first one I would like to comment is the extension, the one related with the extension of the S/4HANA, the SAC. Is very, as I said before, this tool is very powerful because we can create what is called citizen AI. I mean, people who have deep knowledge of the business, but not very, that doesn't feel very comfortable about algorithms. They prefer to ask to the system and not to apply algorithms. And for that, we are lowering the barrier of using the AI with this service Smart Predict. So we create the scenario. Well, there is a restriction, and the restriction is that currently it's only possible in this SAC use APL, and that means that we are restricted to this kind of algorithms. But in any case, that is enough, I mean, because you freed the data science people to focus on more complicated problems, and this made a forecast or a regression or a classification of data is not so complicated and can do it the business analyst. So in this case, in this picture, you can see a KPI distribution, a temporal KPI distributions, and the users wants to have a forecast for the next period. And it's so easy as they right-click and they choose forecast. And what the user does, he can get the forecasting, but not only the forecasting, but also the errors of these predictions. And there are more information, like what are the key influence in this prediction and so on. And if you create a prediction scenario before, I mean, when you are working with SAC, the only thing you do is you define a live connection, you put a CDS view, and based on that, you create a model in business intelligence. So you can train that model, and you will get access to these other three algorithms. So you can, based on the data in this CDS view, you can apply a classification or a regression or the forecasting. That is what I show you in that screenshot. The other scenario related with the side-by-side machine learning scenario is to make a scale out on BTP. So again, you have the same tool, ISLM, but this time it's very much powerful than the one you have on-premise, and you can choose algorithms coming from different libraries, TensorFlow, R, whatever. And when you are developing the model, you can mix these libraries, and again, with ISLM, you control all the operations related with the model. So what we are doing with this approach is to follow the golden rule, that is not start the data, just put the algorithms close to the data. And in BTP, we can use 3 different tools. One of them is reuse the AI business services that are really very powerful. You can create new one from scratch using data intelligence or using whatever technology you want in the hyperscaler platform. And that is important that there is an API, AI API, that can collect all the information you do, but I will comment later on, and you can have an enterprise-grade application about the development of the model. So here I put some screenshots of what you have to do. These are in the red square are the AI business services that SAP is providing, data attribute recommendations, document information extraction, business entity recognitions, document classifications, and service ticket intelligence. And to use it, the only thing you have to do is, in your SAP account, you choose the service you want to use. And if you want to use these services with a standard scenario, some customizing has to be done in S/4HANA, but it's very, very small. The only thing is you have to create an RFC connection and link it with the standard scenario. Of course, these scenarios can be integrated in ABAP or in another language you want to use. So what I say, this is one of the most powerful services that SAP is offering, has several patents, and you can, for instance, you can combine these services. You are thinking in an invoice, an incoming invoice scenario, and you want to post it directly or automatically in the system. In the past, you used some hardware to optical character recognitions, and now you don't need it. With machine learning, you can solve. You can put at the very beginning, perhaps, a classification algorithms, and after this classification, you select the invoice, and based on the invoice, you have trained it with your own data, because one of the differences of these business services with respect to others in the market is that the information you can extract from a document is not only coming from the body of the text. you can train your model with a layout and try to find the information more rapidly using the layout. Well, and whenever you start the information, you can apply the entity recognitions, and after that, you can trigger an RPA automation to post or whatever. The results of the extractions is done in different formats, file types, and okay, you can use it. You can integrate it into development without any problem. Well, and now let's go to the last approach. The last approach, sorry. The last approach is develop. Sometimes you need to change something of the standard machine learning model that is provided by SAP, or you want to create a new one from scratch. And for that, what do you have? Well, last year, in October 2021, SAP launched 2 new services in BTP. One of them is called AI Core, and the other one is called AI Launchpad. With AI Core, you can handle all the tasks related with the machine learning model or service, from the development to the operations. And there is an API that even you are developing the model in external tools, for instance, the data science people doesn't like to use the SQL to apply algorithms. They feel more comfortable using Jupyter Notes. So in that case, okay, there is no problem. They can still using the Jupyter Notes, but they can put the connection parameters at the very beginning, and all the results generated by the Jupyter Notes are collected in SAP, in this SAP AI Core. And this tool is container, use Kubernetes and Git, Argo, have a lot of plugins with the standard tools. Well, and the other services is the user interface, and this AI Launchpad allows you to define a single entry point to access to all the data related with the development or the operation of the AI Launchpad. Sometimes there is a problem when you have different data science teams, and they are working in different servers, and everything, the information is everywhere. And with this tool, you can define just a single entry point for all the personas involved in the process of the AI, and is more easily to use it. Just to have a look on the launch of the AI Launchpad, I put here some screenshots, and that is just an example of how, from just one single point, you can access all the information about it. In this case, you are seeing here a training pipeline. They are using data that are included in different places, and the results of the training you can also access from there. You have just one point to access to that, all that information. So, okay, and I said before, involved in the process of the model, machine learning models, there are several personas, and there are several activities that has to do. There are activities that has to do the operation engineers, the business analysts, business personas, and all of them can be accessed from this single point. Well, I don't want to extend. And just to finish, I put here an example of a a scenario that can illustrate how we can integrate the IoT data. In this case, in this enterprise, there is a manufacturing line. In the manufacturing line, we put a camera at the end of the finished good, and was trained a model to detect anomalies. So whenever a new product is finished, this camera look for anomalies. If one anomaly is detected, automatically trigger a quality inspection in the backend. S/4HANA or ECC, the integration is the same for both systems. And we also put 6 microphones in different places of the manufacturing line, and that was collecting sounds. And based on these sounds was another model. Another model was trained to detect anomalies. And in this case, whenever an anomaly was detected, what is triggered is a maintenance order. So that is just an example of how to include the... So just to finish, is what I say. The data science people feels comfortable using the Jupyter nodes and no SQL commands. So if you want to collect that information, the only thing you have to do is to include a couple of sentences in the Jupyter node on all the information, all the artifacts, and all the outputs are going to be collected in this. And OK, that is all. If you have any question, I will be pleased to answer.
Don't stop. You must understand, though the touch of your hand